Urgent Frequency Television is brought to you by the Brady Game Strategy Feed. Take your game further with strategy guides, video tutorials, and smartphone apps for Gears of War 3, Batman Arkham City, Infamous 2, and so much more. Visit www.bradygames.com today. Brady Games. Take your game further. On this episode of Urgent Frequency Television, we take a first look at the high-altitude attitude of Namco Bandai's flying shooter, Ace Combat Assault Horizon. Then, Tim Cox wraps up his three-part Infamous 2 trophy hunt for this episode's installment of Noob Chew. All that and bullet points comes to life in Dead Nation.
Archer 7, this is Viper 1, how copy? Solid Viper 1, over. Archer 7, interrogative, we are approaching waypoint uniform Foxtrot Tango, standing by for Deadeye. ETA until you're down the slide, over. Viper Dash 2 is Oscar Whiskey, we're currently over the top with a cold nose taking on Go Juice. We sure don't want to get bounced while we are AAR, so we'll be turning it over to Dogstar for tactical scan, over. Solid Archer 7, we are eyes on and standing by for a little boom and zoom. Booyah, Viper 1 out.
Welcome to another episode of Urgent Frequency Television. I am your host, Jack UK Delhouse. Well, it was a chilly December morning on Big Kill Devil Hill in North Carolina, just 4 miles south of a little town called Kitty Hawk, as two blokes from Dayton, Ohio were about to change the world forever. And at 10:35 a.m. on December 17th, 1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright launched the first ever power-controlled, heavier-than-air human flight, and ultimately became the setup for this, the Ace Combat feature. Here we are over 100 years later, and Namco Bandai and Project Aces are set to launch a blistering reboot of their Ace Combat franchise with Ace Combat Assault Horizon. This is the first multi-platform iteration of the Ace Combat series, and only the second to take place in a real-world environment. All the elements that have kept the Ace Combat franchise in the air for nearly 2 decades are here, well, with a few noticeable changes. First, Project Aces procured the services of New York Times best-selling author Jim DeFelice to pen the gritty, single-player storyline set in the year 2015. The story introduces us to Lieutenant Colonel William Bishop, leader of the Warwolf Squadron, an element of the NATO-led 108th Task Force, who are on a mission to stop an anti-government insurgency that is sweeping throughout the African continent. The task force is part of a large multinational military force in Africa that includes UN troops as well as Russian support forces. The team soon discover that the insurgents have a new type of superweapon called Trinity, and that they are being aided by an infamous Russian ace pilot and mercenary, Colonel Andrei Akula Markov. The race to secure the superweapon begins, and the conflict soon engulfs the rest of the world. Next is the addition of attack helicopters to an already impressive arsenal of earth-scorching aircraft. Add to that a few special missions which include stealth bombers, Black Hawk choppers, and AC-130 gunships, and any air combat enthusiast can now die with a massive smile on their face. But the biggest change in the franchise may also be the best. Ace Combat Assault Horizon introduces the Close Range Assault System, or CRA. CRA shatters the traditional look and feel of the standard air combat sim and replaces it with a more first-person shooter type of interface. It's designed to bring the player closer to the action. CRA manifests itself in a couple different ways in the game. First, there's Dogfight Mode, or DFM, for standard air-to-air combat scenarios, and then there's Airstrike Mode, or ASM, for scenarios involving air-to-ground targets. At press time, the announced multiplayer mode is still a little bit of a mystery. But overall, it appears that most of the ingredients for success are here. A good story, innovative gameplay, and a franchise that's always understood its place in the genre and has always managed to get it right. Personally, I think the Wright brothers would be pretty bleeding proud. Well, it's time for part 3 of that much talked about how-to segment on UFreqTV, Noob Chew. This week, the illustrious Tim Cox concludes the 3-part series of Infamous 2 Trophy Hunt. Take it away, Tim.
The Back to the Bayou trophy requires Cole to take a trip back to the island where he began his adventures. To reach this area, you need to have unlocked the improved static thrusters or lightning tether abilities. Cole needs to reach the large power pole sticking out of the water. If you have the lightning tether ability, simply aim and fire at the power pole to drag Cole to it. Otherwise, climb on top of the boat to the left, leap off the cabin and use static thrusters to float over to the pole. Climb the power pole and use the grind wires to slide over to the first platform. Jump off at the end of the grind and float to the far of the end platform. Hop across the yellow piping to reach the next platform, and another power pole and grind wire combo. Continue along the grind wires and platforms until Cole reaches the ruins of the ferry boat he destroyed at the start of the game. Now jump and float across the ruins of the ferry boat to reach the pier. Cross the signs floating in the water to reach the main island. Run through the shanty town and add the Back to the Bayou trophy to your collection.
And don't forget, everybody was a noob once.
Next time on Urgent Frequency Television. As the war for the shooter crown heats up, we dig in for what some are calling the game changer. Bold marketing and a brand new graphics engine could be the difference. As Battlefield 3 invades Urgent Frequency Television, plus new installments of Noob Tube and Bullet Points. It's all next time on Urgent Frequency Television, exclusively on PlayStation Home. Be sure to visit www.urgentfury.com for more information about Urgent Fury or Urgent Frequency Television. Urgent Fury. Win with honor. Lose with dignity.
Hey Rita, cup of coffee and a piece of that huckleberry pie.
You made it. Yeah, I just told my dad I was going to be studying with Cindy at the library after practice.
Hey, what are you doing over there?
Don't forget to network with us via Twitter, on Facebook, the official Urgent Fury blog, Urgent Fury Unleashed, and on our blip.tv channel. I am Jack Delhouse. Thanks very much for watching, and remember, you can't win if you don't play. Get in! Cheers.